What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 19. And today we got the off-season video for, well, heading into the 2020 season. Our Pirates were 78 and 84 in 2019. Unfortunately, that was not good enough to make the postseason. Last episode, we went over the stat standings, saw who won the World Series, playoffs, all that. So I'm going to link a card up at the top of the screen there, so you can click if you want to watch that video. But today we're just going to go in order through the offseason as quickly as I can. Wasn't a huge offseason in terms of moves anyway. So we'll first take a look at view retired players. Like I said, we're just going to go in order of how things went down, kind of like a real feel. And our only retiree was Melky Cabrera, our fifth outfielder. He retired due to ability, but really he's just old. I mean, he played pretty well for us last year, but we weren't going to bring him back anyway, so it really didn't matter. And then you can see Cliff Pennington, ability, all these. Not going to go through everyone, but I'll go over the notables. Albert Pujols and Ichiro Suzuki. They made the Hall of Fame, both playing from 2000 to 2019, both with 3,000 hits and amazing careers. Ichiro was a free agent, though. He didn't play for anybody in 2019. Exclusive negotiations, which are guys that we have to have 5 days to sign or, offer qualifying deals. And those were the three. And we're not going to bring any of them back. Cervelli was the one maybe we would have brought back, but he's not. He got really bad, and we will address the catcher position later anyway. And we have Elias Diaz, so he'll probably be starting for us for now. And the first deal, Marcell Ozuna signs with the Texas Rangers. And some of these get really weird. Brandon Morrow signs to a one-year deal with the Angels. MLB The Show logic, this is what I'm talking about. Yankees signed Rizzo to a 4-year, $50 million deal in free agency. The Rangers signed Rendon. Now keep an eye on the Rizzo thing, and as well as Buster Posey and Vlad Jr. Posey goes to the Blue Jays for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like I said, keep an eye on them and Rizzo, because this game's logic of trades is ridiculous, but I don't want to turn trades off because I do want some turnover. But as you can see, Posey goes straight to the Red Sox from the Blue Jays. And it's weird. There's more on that later. But looking at the available free agents once we got to it, there wasn't really anyone left in the positions we needed. Brett Gardner maybe, but I didn't want to give him all that money. So in terms of star power, it's going to be a relatively quiet offseason for our Pirates. We're bringing back a lot of people anyway, so I'm not going to go over everyone that we do bring back. Basically, if they weren't old or terrible, they're under contract, they pretty much came back. So now on to some of the players we did sign. And like I said, none of them are big names. But let's take a look at this catching prospect, Joey Bart, from the Giants organization. A potential, 71 overall, 23 years old. Pretty good contact, good, decent defense. For some reason, the Giants did not re-sign him. I don't know why. Normally, I don't like to cheese the game, but I'm just going to assume they did it because they have Buster Posey. So we're going to actually try to get him, and we do actually end up signing him $120 million for a minor league deal, but he could be our top prospect, catching prospect, right away, and could be with the big club this year as we're moving on from Cervelli. The next thing we did, J.P. Crawford, was once a big Phillies prospect, moved to, I believe, the Mariners. For some reason, they've given up on him, which, he is 65 overall, 25 years old. So we're going to go ahead and give him a chance. Yolber Sanchez, 23 years old, out of Cuba B, potential 60 overall. Going to bring him in as well. And like I said, a lot of these guys are probably going to be starting in AAA, but have a good chance of making the ball club right away as we're trying to push in some of these younger guys. Brian Goodwin, B potential, 71 overall. He's 29 years old, but look at the defense and balanced hitting numbers. we're going to bring him in to bat against the right-handers. Probably platoon him in the outfield. Anthony Alford's another guy we brought in basically for defense. He's going to start in AAA. But again, 25 years old. One of those guys that was once a big prospect that never really panned out. So we're going to try a lot of those guys. Tyler Stevenson is another one. I believe he's a catcher for was in the Nationals organization. More of a defensive catcher, but does have a little bit of pop. He's another guy that could get called up. And then this was what I was talking about. Trey Turner goes to the Giants for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who the Giants traded Buster Posey for. So essentially swapping Turner and Posey. Again, I don't understand the trade logic in this game. So we'll go on to the Rule 5 draft now. Like I said, we're just kind of going in order of how things went down. And we're trying to get this last bullpen arm. Mike Morin, James Hoyt. In the Rule 5, you have to keep them up on the Major League roster all year. Thought about Hoyt, but we're actually going to go with Morin just because he's 28 years old instead of 33. So he probably won't regress as bad. And then again, Anthony Rizzo now moved for the third time. Or maybe this is the second time. But regardless, yeah, it's the second time at this point. Yankees trade him and a prospect for Whit Merrifield. I don't really understand that move. They didn't need him when they had Rizzo. So now we'll go to a trade we actually make. And that's Cole Tucker. Used to be a big prospect in our organization. We've acquired a couple shortstops that are now ahead of him. And there's really no room for him. So we were offered this trade. And I think it's a good one. Since we do have, Mateo and Steven Almayas and O'Neal Cruz, 21-year-old A potential under him. I think it's a good time to make the move. We could always use a couple extra arms for Nick Neidhart, 22 years old, B potential, 65 overall. So he's a little younger. He's like 1 year younger, otherwise they're both about the same. But I think that Neidhart has a better future with us. So then again, Anthony Rizzo ends up back on the Padres, traded from the Royals. I don't get it. We can't turn the trades off because then there'll be no, player movement really, but it is baffling. So then on to the coaching. We end up signing Roger Johnson and Rick Anderson to be base coaches. Full disclosure, I forgot to sign a coach till the last minute, but that's kind of the way things are. And then, so some last signings we did. Basically, these are just 1 year flyers on guys that, will probably start on the Major League club or maybe AAA, but they'll get a shot at some point. So we went with Ronald Torreyes, former Yankee, and then Josh Fuentes was a prospect in the Rockies organization, never really panned out. Wilmer Defoe from the Nationals, I call him the Nationals, he never really panned out, so we're going to give him a shot. Same with Anthony Lima, 21 years old, D potential though, but, has good, decent speed, pretty good power, respectable hitting numbers. And Harry Alonso's another one with D potential, but he's 21 years old, major league contact, major league speed. I mean, he's worth a shot. He'll probably be in AAA. If we need somebody, we'll call him up. And then Brandon Finnegan is probably the most notable one. Former, Royals prospect. Went to the Reds, just didn't really pan out. He's only 26 years old. Still has B potential, but he's 68 overall. But he is a lefty. I think our plans for him is to pitch him out of the bullpen. So we'll give him a shot. So now this is going to be what the opening day roster looks like. Obviously things, like I said, will change probably fairly quickly because we are trying to push some of these younger guys up. But Jamison Taillon will get the start on opening day. Trevor Williams becomes the 2 guy. Chris Archer moves to the 3 slot. Musgrove and then Kingham. And then the bullpen, Tyler Lyons, Mike Morin, Kyle Crick is back and healthy. Keona Kella, Michael Feliz. Finnegan's going to start in AAA, but he will probably end up, at the top very quickly, especially if Lyons struggles again. And then the batting order is going to go, Marte leadoff. Frazier's back hitting 2. Gong in the 3-hole. Gong is under team control on the game since they don't do like actual free agent signings. So we still have him for like 3 years. That was the reason I didn't trade him at the deadline last year. So we have him back in the 3-hole. Polanco is actually going to bat cleanup for us to start the year. Josh Bell's going to slide down to 5. And then Brian Goodwin's going to bat against righties and play left field. We're going to platoon him and Pablo Reyes. Reyes will bat against lefties. At least to start the year. If one of them, plays way better than the other one, then they'll get the spot. Or they're both terrible, we'll figure something else out. Kevin Newman's going to bat 7th. Elias Diaz is going to start as our catcher. But like I said, we have Joey Bart, Tyler Stevenson. One of them will probably be up pretty soon, especially if Diaz struggles. And then Colin Moran is going to be our DH when we face the American League. And then, Goodwin, Steve Barron, Torreyes, and Dilfo make out the rest of our Major League bench to start the year. Again, obviously, that's going to change with injuries and performance and such. And we have some prospects that will probably be called up fairly soon. That's going to do it for the off-season edition. I'm sorry to make too many moves. There wasn't a whole lot to do. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the moves I did make. And if you're excited for this season, let me know your predictions on the season down below in the comments. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time. Peace.